guy's
You
side.
got the lap, baby.
Remember this?
Just sit on his lap. Alright.
What kind of shoes you have? Nice.
No Ben Franklin's today.
Yeah.
I got my dogs out today though, which is like crazy. It's springtime, trying to like
I get my
let the
toes done before I put my dogs out.
Okay, I keep my toes done. That's just like who I am as a person.
Okay, well.
But it's springtime, so it's time to let the dogs out.
Ooh, let the dogs out.
Ooh. Okay, period.
Those dogs
That was a
better
good
stay
move.
still.
Fucking.
That's from that one movie, right?
The Rugrats movie?
No.
Oh.
Who let the dogs out?
Who let the dogs out? The
Hotel
Jamaican
for dogs.
Every 90s movie, every 90s
Literally,
child
it's
movie.
like it's from
I was thinking of Cool Runnings.
yes, the Jamaican bobsled team.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Favorite Disney movie. There
That's a
you
really
go.
Johnny Tsunami.
Oh my god! Wait,
Oh,
you
yes.
remember Johnny
Of course,
Tsunami?
yeah.
I know you don't. Do you remember?
That song in the movie was
Johnny
was a hit.
Tsunami. Okay, so movies that like live in the back of my brain. That movie actually I used to have on VHS, like recorded from the TV. So like it came on Disney Channel, put the VHS in the thing, hit record, and so we had like this bootleg version of like Johnny Tsunami when I was growing up. Such a good movie.
Yeah.
What these kids know about VHS?
Oh,
Do you remember that song in the movie? It was like
sing it for us, Allie.
I don't remember it, but do you remember this song?
I don't recall.
No, I fear I don't recall.
Yeah, look. When he's surfing on the
Okay, yeah.
Watch.
In the beginning, in the intro.
Yeah. No. Do you not remember? Do you not remember? From the movie. It was in the
No, literally.
Simon Says. This was 16 years old.
Jesus.
Nickelback.
God, what a time. Nickelback. Okay.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
Seriously, if you weren't alive then, I'm...
It reminds me of One Tree Hill, whatever that is, background.
Okay, like Gavin DeGraw,
Yeah.
like early 2000. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Were you alive then?
Uh-huh.
She was 1 month old.
Belle was born in the 21st century. That like blows my mind.
Yeah.
But it is
No
one of
comment.
those... It is one of those things though where like you probably hate when people say that. You're like, okay, I get it. Like I'm young, you're old. Like
Wow. I hate when I say I was born in the 90s and they're like, oh, what year? And I'm like 99. And they're like, that doesn't count.
Did you see that? That was crazy.
What?
It just like flicked water everywhere.
People
Look-
compare Kanye to like the most whack.
Look at the flick of my wrist.
That's literally Carissa right now with her Chanel bracelet.
Gotta let the hoes
So
know.
fancy. Oh. Okay,
She's
guys.
like, what time is it?
Let me look.
Oh, time for you to get a watch. That's what my mom used to say when I was growing up, which is like so annoying. It's such a boomer
mom thing to say.
Because my dad would be like, I'm like, Dad, I'm hungry. He's like, hi, hungry, I'm dad. And I'm like, oh my God, that's
As a
so
teenager, I'm
good. Okay, everyone. Welcome back to Hired and Wired, the caffeine-fueled podcast where we entertain you with workplace topics, humor, and absolute nonsense. Episode 3 is about to be super lit, just to be like real millennial for you. We're going to do a lot of like questions, but they're going to be fun. So, and we're also going to talk a little bit about, Belle brought the topic today, right? So what are you selling? Everyone's selling. Question mark, exclamation point. Everyone's selling. What are you selling? So really excited to talk about this, but before we get into it, I just have a couple of things I want to touch base on. Dally, how was the traffic this morning?
Oh shit, this morning it wasn't that bad.
I know. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I
Any
didn't see.
merging issues?
No, 75 was clear, 121 was pretty clear until I got to Coit.
Every time.
And yeah, once you pass that little half-mile traffic conglomeration, it's not even a good word to use. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Fake words.
No, but really, once you pass the little area, it's fine. And then, you always realize that there's really nothing that caused the traffic. It was that one person.
Except me. It was me the whole time.
And I hope that person who causes it knows what they're doing, you know?
You just want them, like maybe they're watching
Yeah.
right now. Wishful thinking.
In their car.
Oh my God.
In the right lane.
Stop.
Both hands on the steering wheel, eyes forward, no looking to the side, no looking left or right, just super close to the steering wheel, just
Trouble.
Like panicking. 55.
I know exactly what this person looks like.
Just
I can picture her in my
55.
brain.
It's her.
No,
It's so sexist.
no empathy for other people. Like it's ridiculous. And how can you drive? How can you drive on the
But
road?
Jordan started.
Okay,
How can you drive on the road knowing that there's 50 cars behind you and you're a line leader? and
How
you're
do you
just-
sleep at night?
like, it's-
Quick question, what the heck? Carissa, what are your 3 things this week?
My 3 things are my animals.
Always.
They bring me joy. I got to see.
I'm gonna steal your cat.
I don't think she has a cat.
She has
does.
2
I have
cats.
2 cats. I talk to you about them all the time.
Kidnap Chris.
Forgive me.
Kidnap Chris's cat.
Talk about them again.
Maybe like that episode of The Office where Dwight puts
Yeah.
it in the freezer, their cat.
No.
Anyway.
Have you ever thought about your cat gone missing?
Okay, anyway, 3 things, your animals.
My animals.
She comes home, cat's missing. Dalvo, where's my cat? Oh.
Okay, we're back.
Who's starstruck now?
I have
Okay.
to. Yeah, she's fun. She's at my house. Dalvo, bring that cat back right now.
Animals.
Okay.
My birthday's next week.
Okay,
So
soon.
excited for
Aries
that.
season.
Aries.
Birthday Zilla.
Birthday Zilla.
Kidding. She has to go to a wedding on her birthday. And it's a Wednesday. What are the odds?
If she watches this, we can't have that in there.
How old are
it's
you
fine.
turning? How old are you turning?
Ugh, 26.
Mm.
It's my golden birthday though. I'm turning 26 on the 26th.
Oh, that's so sick.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So,
Mine was a long time ago. I didn't even know about golden birthdays when I had my golden birthday.
when was yours?
When I was 9 years old.
Oh, that doesn't count.
9 on the 9th. August 9th.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the sun, but she already said the sun.
Yeah, it sounds good. It doesn't have to be anything crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you love the sun, then vitamin D is amazing.
I like the sun because it's like bringing me out of my seasonal depression.
Dude, the seasonal
thawing.
depression is
15 minutes a day.
melting away like a freaking snowman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, daylight savings time serving.
Oh,
Next.
I'm an idiot. Ignore me. Dally. Weekly
Yeah.
3 things.
Wait, you didn't ask me how my week is going.
I'll ask you.
Okay.
For me, coffee,
Of course.
the good weather, and International Women's Day. Because it's International
Again?
Women's Day every day.
Dally's obsession with International Women's Day is like giving me life.
No, but really.
How's your week?
It's good.
No one wants to know about my week.
Well, I'm sorry I skipped you. I'll come back. It's good?
Yeah, lots of training, boxing, and the usual.
Okay, fun. How's your week, Carissa?
I don't even know if you want to know. So
I do. We all want to know. The
Okay.
people want to know.
my week's great. Business as usual.
Oh, wow. That is absolutely, like, wow.
I will say this weekend I got to go to New Mexico for the first time.
Yeah.
8-hour drive, which sucked. But once I got there, it was great. Very sunny, very dry, which my skin loved.
Oh, really?
Didn't break out a single time.
look
Hashtag adult
good.
acne. Yeah, so I was loving it. And then I came home yesterday and now I'm back at work.
Your skin does look really good.
Thanks.
You're doing the most.
Who took care of your cats while you were gone?
I'm afraid of him. I need to get some more security on my
Yeah,
house.
girl.
If
This
he's
is...
orange, I got him.
If he's orange?
She,
What
she,
if they're not orange? What is...
Behavior is out of control.
What's your
orange
affinity
cats.
with orange
cat
cats?
behavior.
Do they love lasagna?
Yeah, orange
cats.
cat behavior is crazy.
her name's Peaches.
Orange cat behavior is crazy.
Yeah.
It really is.
Just doing shit you would never
Okay.
imagine.
Jordan, what are your top 3 things?
My top 3 things. I'm gonna go with editing this podcast because it's consumed so much of my time, but it does bring me a lot of like a sense of like accomplishment, fulfillment. Another thing would be the fact that my grass is starting to turn green again from the winter. It's been really nice out, so like actually seeing green, I'm like, oh good, not everything's like dead.
But are you getting the weeds? Because that's what's happening at my
I have
house.
so many weeds. Oh, okay. So that brings me to my third thing. My third thing is my kid picking little weeds out of the yard and bringing them to me because he thinks they're flowers. Like that is paramount. And then he's like, "Mom, where'd you put your flowers?" And I'm like,
He wants you to put them on a face.
You're
"What
doing
do
so
I
good.
do? What do I do?" What do I do with this? The mom guilt, it just like overtakes me. I guess no one's gonna ask me how my week has been.
It's gonna be the same.
How's your week been, Jordan?
No, my week's been super good. I mean, kids started T-ball over the weekend, which we love that. I started coding yesterday, my coding journey, so I'm loving that too.
Wow.
Like programming.
On
yeah.
Udemy or?
Freecodecamp.org.
Yeah, you know
Not
where
sponsored.
Ronstad's partnered with Udemy.
I know.
So you can do intro to
Okay,
data
is it
science.
Udemy?
I thought it was Udemy.
Yeah, but he's from Europe, so he probably says it differently.
Udemy.
Udemy. Okay.
Udemy. Udemy. Yeah. Yeah, but there's the intro to Python and
Yeah.
intro to data science and
Intro to Python's really aggressive. Like, I wouldn't start there.
Yeah.
For sure, I wouldn't start there. I will get there, though.
Google Analytics
Start with
is good
scripting
too.
and then work your way up. I feel
Yeah,
like.
yeah. It's like you start with the basics, right?
She's a baddie. She can code and she can pod.
What do you think about it? Is it hard?
I don't. It requires a lot of like brain power, but I don't know if hard is the word I would use.
My
Critical
brain
thinking?
doesn't work like that. Like machinery, yeah.
It was one of those things where I really had to think about it, and then as I kept doing it, I was like, oh, okay, like I see what's going on here. So anyway,
It's like doing Sudoku.
here's Wonderwall.
We should all start coding.
I'm good.
I triple dog dare you guys.
Yeah,
to.
no, I'd like to start too.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
I mean, the future is tech, right? Everyone's talking about AI. Like, I feel like you either have to like keep up or get left behind, right? Like,
There's certain things I'll do. I don't see coding in
Yeah, me either.
Bella won't even try anything.
I'll
once.
leave it to the professionals.
I took
Well,
a,
you could be a professional,
I took a coding class. I was like
dude.
top tier, highest bidder. Can
The Excel formulas is
Take
where I
the
draw
class
the
for me.
line.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
If
oh my
if
god.
if formulas and the arrays
Pivot
and stuff,
tables.
You mess up
VLOOKUP.
My
like
brain
a
can't even
hashtag,
comprehend
you're
that,
done.
so.
Yeah, I mean, it's really meticulous.
Yeah.
It really is.
So no for me, dog. Keep going.
Honestly, I support it. It's totally fine. I enjoyed our conversation last week. I know we all kind of sat and watched together and we kind of, do our little critiques. I guess my catchphrase is, I love that. That's my catchphrase. If you guys had a catchphrase, what would it be?
Mine would be, we just say, we have a thing that we say in Serbian. It's like jebiga. It means
you shithead.
no. No, it means like whatever, kind of in a good way. Just kind of like jebiga.
Sure.
It. Sorry, we can't say that, but yeah.
I mean, you can say whatever the hell you
I
want.
say it too much on
But yeah, no, you say like oh, he left early, jebiga. Like you just say jebiga.
Okay.
Jebiga, jebiga. There, I'm teaching you guys.
Jebiga.
I'm teaching
Serbian.
you guys some Serbian. Yeah.
Serbian. Okay, cool.
Bilingual.
Speaking of Serbian, did you guys know that Dali was in the movie Gladiator 2?
Yeah. What an experience.
That actually brings me into my next question. I really want to know. So I'm going to give a little bit of a background on why I'm asking this question. I sent you the post this morning on LinkedIn, and it was something along the lines of like, what's something that's on your mind? And it was very funny answers. And one of the answers that someone gave was that no one talks enough about the fact that Luke Skywalker kisses his sister in the Star Wars. And I'm like, you know what? No, we actually, like, I think about this like at least once a month, right?
But is it incest if he didn't know it was his sister?
But it doesn't matter. George Lucas was wild for that. Like, wow. And if you watch them in order that they were released, you obviously don't know it's his sister when they kiss. But if you watch it in chronological order, when they kiss, you're like, that is foul. Like, who would do this? Whose mind? Anyway. And I kept thinking about it. I was like, that is one thing. Like, that's kind of like Roman Empire. Like, I think about that moment and I'm like, God, how weird is that, right? Like, that's so bizarre. And so I'm really curious because we've never talked about this before, but I want to know what y'all's Roman Empire is.
I have too many. I didn't mean to think of one. You guys go.
You first.
Mine would be being an extra in Gladiator 2 and
No, that was literally
Roman.
your
Yeah.
Roman Empire.
Yeah, I do think about it quite a lot. It was probably the best experience of my life.
Oh.
Going out on set every day, and the makeup artist doing our makeup every morning.
Oh, I love that.
The good, the
There we
good,
go.
the good energy around all the people that were there, and just seeing Sir Ridley Scott, Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal, Paul Mescal, Connie Nielsen. It was probably the best experience.
Speaking of Star Wars, Pedro Pascal. Anyway,
Yeah. So
we love
Yeah.
you.
We do. What a man.
Oh, what's your Roman Empire? You've had time.
Why so many people print in this building when we're like literally right inside digital? Like,
Oh
if
my
I can't- If
God.
I can't,
How many times a day you hear the printer going?
yeah, I guess it's because of my next. So I got a little bone to pick, but it's all good.
they're digging that paper.
I feel like having
I'm
dreams
here
about
for the hard
printing.
copies.
Oh my God.
No, but we got to figure out though.
In the file
Hold
cabinet.
You're
on.
so Gen Z.
We got to figure out what they're printing and why there's always people on that printer. I mean,
It's the same
It's
people
like-
too.
yeah.
Who you are.
like it doesn't take 10 minutes to get a piece of paper.
Yeah.
So
Do you
what's
think they're lingering? Do you think they're lingering to hear our conversation?
I think they're smuggling.
Smuggling paper. Cute. Cute. Carissa, what's your Roman Empire?
So, books.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
If you have gone down like the romantasy spiral,
Romantasy, my new favorite word.
Tell them about
romance and fantasy combined together to make the most amazing creature of all world. Yeah. I started getting back into reading like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's just been something that I've like slowly become just like super obsessed with.
Yeah.
And I think about it daily. I have my favorite books that I've read 3 or 4 times. I've like dragged Jordan into some of my like books that I'm obsessed with.
Yeah.
I'm always the one that's like, oh, I have a recommendation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny because I've never been really a fantasy reader at all. I've really loved like crime novels, whether it's true, fake, whatever. Like I love the Perfect Marriage. Oh my God, such a freaking good book. The sequel is actually coming out. I've already got it pre-ordered on Amazon, so in April it'll be delivered to my house. But Carissa was like, you have to read King of Battle and Blood. I was like, oh, she's like, you love vampires, like you gotta just read this. And I'm like, okay, dope. So I did, and I was like, okay, this is like high-key really good. So when you got me into, and you're like, you need to read ACOTAR, I was like, oh,
Court of Thorns and Roses for
Yeah.
those who aren't in
yeah.
the fandom.
If you know, you know though. Also, just absolutely amazing. I am really getting into the fantasy thing now.
Yeah.
Romantasy, sorry.
People always knock it, but like once you get into it, like it really is like an art.
Do you read like war books and stuff, like older books, like War and Peace, for example, and stuff like that?
War and Peace?
Yeah. Leo Tolstoy.
It's
I'm
giving World War
familiar
II.
with the book.
It's giving World War II.
Personally, no.
I do like old literature. Like I will
Yeah.
say that. Like I
Jane Austen.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Pride and Prejudice.
Edgar Allan Poe, like I, again, with the crime stuff, like I love his short stories and his poems.
Yeah.
Really, really good stuff.
Have you read The Scarlet Letter?
Of course, I read it
In
twice.
school.
I
Yeah.
read it twice.
This past weekend when you were listening to your audiobook.
No, this is not podcast approved. I could not put that on there.
It's so funny.
Those old English books are hard to grasp though. The language
if
that
you
they
read,
use, yeah.
If you read
Old
them,
English, yeah.
also Brave New World is a really good one, which I will say is actually, like if you go to Barnes and Noble, it's in like the banned book section, which is crazy to me because I actually read the book in like AP Lit in high school. But actually, if you think about it, I'm like, I can't believe they let us read that
Or
book.
Huckleberry Finn that says like some pretty crazy things.
Yeah.
It's banned now.
Yeah.
Banned, whatever that means. They obviously still sell the book. I think it just means you can't read it in school or have it in schools or whatever. So yeah, that's
Greek and Roman as well literature.
Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Gladiator 2. Guys, I know you asked what my Roman Empire was. Other than the Luke Skywalker thing, I probably think about the like Vampire Diaries at least once a day. Like it is for sure my Roman Empire. Let's dive into the topic because I think there are going to be some funny anecdotes that actually go along with this story, or with this topic. But Belle, like I said, brought up a really good, don't you think everyone is selling? It's like no matter what you do, you're selling. The first thing that you sell is what? Like your presence, like your energy, whatever. But what we want to know, I say we, you know, I say we a lot when I'm like, we want to know, but I just mean me and myself and I, all three of us want to know.
The Trinity.
The Holy Trinity, if you ask me. What is the first thing you ever sold? Belle, what's the first thing you ever sold? And don't say pharmaceuticals.
Whatever you do, do not say
Yeah.
Noted. So, macaroni and cheese pizza. And if we're really going to go, like, all the way back, like, lemonade stand, frick.
Oh, gee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you, Carissa, what was the first thing you sold?
I was a hustler from a young age.
Okay,
So
the hustler life chose you.
Yeah, so I actually started a dog walking business when I was like in elementary school, because my parents were like the ones that, like, if you wanted something from the store, like a toy or
Yeah.
an outfit or whatever, like I had to have that money myself. My parents were not the one to go buy it for me.
Yeah.
So whether it was like shoveling my neighbor's snow off their driveway or
I
raking their
forget
leaves.
you're from Washington. I was like, bro, where are you shoveling snow?
I'm from Seattle originally. So, shoveling snow, raking leaves, walking dogs. Like, I was out there, which honestly, now looking back, like, how scary. I could have been plucked off the streets. But, like, I would just knock on people's doors, like, in the middle of the morning, randomly, and be like, hi, can I mow your yard for $5, please? And then I would go, and I would take all my money that I collected, and I'd go buy, like, a Tamagotchi, or My Little Pony, or
Sign of the times.
American Girl doll. Like, I saved my money
A
for that.
bootleg VHS tape of Johnny Tsunami.
Yeah, so it was just like all these little odd end jobs, and like
Yeah.
I was about the money. Like, I was like running my check to these people that I didn't know.
That. I feel like you're still like that though. It's like ingrained in you.
Yeah, definitely my personality for sure.
Dally, what's the first thing you ever sold?
Mine was probably when I lived in Germany in Hamburg. My mom used to buy me the packets of like Kinder, you know, the Kinder Buenos or the small Kinder
the
chocolates.
Yeah.
And like I would come home and my sister would be there and my dad would be there, and we had this like little tiny apartment, and like whenever they asked me for like a piece, like I was super greedy with my stuff and selfish, I guess. Like I would charge them.
Oh my god. The fact that they would I'm more amazed at the fact that they would pay you.
So she bought it for me, and then if she wanted a piece, she would have to pay for it.
You've come so far because now you offer your mix to us.
What's the profit margin on something like
Yeah.
that? 200%? Like, so chocolate
Yeah.
that you had already, your parents had already
Hustled
bought
his
for
own
you.
family.
Literally. I don't know.
That's dumb
really,
bad.
okay. That's like real hustling. So
From the streets.
speaking of the streets, Carissa, when you said I could have gotten plucked off the streets, yes. So when I was a kid, I was in elementary school. I grew up in South Florida, like citrus trees everywhere. Okay. So there was these grapefruit trees in this one neighborhood that my friend lived in, and I was like sleeping over at her house, and we like picked a bunch of grapefruits off the tree and then like went door to door like in her neighborhood, and we're like asking people like, do you want to buy a grapefruit for $1? Okay, and this is like 1997.
They were like 20 cents in the store.
They were free from the tree in their backyard.
Did they know that you plucked it from their tree?
No, it wasn't from their tree. It was like everyone, like so many people had this tree
Goated.
in the yard. Yeah, and so but like
Pesticide free.
Iconic.
yes, like we would go door to door, be like, do you want to buy a grapefruit for like $1? And these people were like so nice. You know what I mean? I mean, we were like 5 years old, so it was so funny. But then we got to someone's door and he was like, why would I buy this from you when I have the tree in my backyard? And we were like, oh, everyone has
You
this
should go check on that, sir.
everyone
He goes out, there's no grapefruit on his tree.
Actually, we poached all the grapefruit from your tree.
What
so.
tree, sir?
I did.
The tree's gone.
I'm holding an axe.
I have one more funny story that I have to share.
Okay.
So in 6th grade, I like had a little cough one day, and so I brought a bag of like cough drops, but they were like the yummy flavor, like the cream raspberry ones. I don't know if you remember.
Yes.
They were delicious. So I brought a bag of those things, and they were so yummy. So I was just popping in my mouth like crazy, and you guys, And everyone around me was like, ooh, what are those? Thinking it was candy. And so I was like, wait, I see a business opportunity here. So I started charging these people $1 per cough drop.
Oh my
I was like bringing a new bag to school every day. Like my mom was like,
Suspension.
I would lie to my mom. I was like, I still have a sore throat. And she kept buying me these cough drops, selling them at school. Like
Pharmaceuticals.
literally until my teacher found out. She was like, why does everyone in this class have cough drops? And I was like, well, so that was my first.
One of your first. You've been a hustler since literally day one.
I came out ready to make that shmoney.
Oh my God. Okay. So getting into sales, like obviously when you're like working, right? Like the first thing someone notices about you is like whatever that impression is that you give them. So when you're selling, like, do you feel like you give off better vibes like cold calling or like LinkedIn? Like how are your vibes whenever you're reaching out when you're trying to sell something?
I would say for me, when I am like doing my first outreach to people, I come across super formal.
Yeah.
And then when I actually like get a meeting with them and I'm like, having a face-to-face conversation, it's a lot more like organic and natural. Like I feel like, and I tell my leader this all the time, I'm like, if people would give me a chance and just meet with me, like they'll want to buy from me. Like, and that's not to toot my own horn or anything, but like I feel very confident in the services that we offer. I feel very confident in my way of partnering with them.
Yeah.
But it's just getting people to meet with me is the hardest part. Like that initial outreach, like how do I show my personality in that? Yeah. So it's like once I get a hold of someone and that conversation gets started, I always get really great feedback on my communication. But like, man, it's so hard to like just initially, like how do I peek through,
Yeah. That's facts though, because the hot take, people don't like being sold to.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's like you have to find, I always say there's like this perfect formula, not an economics one, but a perfect formula where someone has to need something, you have to offer that thing, and you have to be like compatible in like your communication style, right? And being in sales, I personally always lead with like personality, like 100%. I'm gonna start the conversation with probably like asking you about your day, and not like, hey, can you meet with me? Although that's ultimately the goal. It's establishing the relationship before I get to the point of like, hey, because I don't actually, depending on what it is, it's like, can I organically find out if they need something from me or not, right?
Yeah.
Save a lot of time, but that's kind of my preferred way. What about you, Belle?
Yeah, I'd say going off what you said, kind of like making it personal is like the way to go, because like, and remaining curious and just wanting to learn about them, take that approach and like go that way. It's funny because like there's this one guy I was calling, he's like a target of mine, and called his mobile number, found it on Zoom info. He answered, he's kind of screaming the phone, so like obviously I screamed back.
She meets their energy, bro.
Yes,
she really
me.
does.
I love that.
Yeah, well, thank you. But then so he's like, I was like, okay, so you, he's like, no, I don't, and kind of chuckled. And so then I was like, he's a little sus. And then I call him on his direct line, and he picks up, and it's the same guy. He told me I had the wrong number. And he's like, hello? And I was like, hello? I said, I knew it was you. He said, what do you mean you know it's me? Like, I don't know you. Who are you? To this day, he doesn't know who I am. I'm going to try again. Like...
Okay, that's cool.
But it's memorable. Like that person's gonna remember you when you call back, versus like if you were just some robot,
Yes, you're gonna like me. Okay, hear me now, believe me later.
I think it's like coming to realize like there's so many people to talk to, and it's just like, yes, maybe one doesn't pull through, but just try again in a little bit.
Yeah,
move forward. Yeah.
Dally, I know your answer to this question, but I just want to hear you say it, because listening to you talk on the phone is probably, it's a top tier experience. Because I'm like, did he really just say that?
He's super direct.
What do you mean, no?
He's like, you're saying no, but honestly, I think you just don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, going back, I agree with Jordan on the point of, good communication, but going back to your point in regards to strictly just selling, it's almost like the example when you go to a car dealership. You don't want to, when someone approaches you and they start talking about selling immediately, like as soon as you walk up, it makes me automatically want to leave the car dealership.
Yeah.
Versus the person who comes up to you, they say, hey, how's it going? What are you up to? How's your week been? Let me know if you need anything. Not very pushy and just authentic. I think those are the best people that, sell their products. You want to go back to them, you can talk to them. They're not very, focused on just selling.
It's less transactional. And I get what you're saying. I think the way that I would put that into Ronstadt sales terms is asking probing questions. Because if you're like, how's your week been? And they kind of start telling you, and you kind of get a little bit of a sense of oh, do you take your kids to soccer 3 times a week? You get an understanding of what their need might actually be, and you can sell them what they need and not just be like, here's this, new Mustang, electric vehicle that you can't even fit all 7 of your kids in.
Yeah. But believe it or not, I've had some calls where close to the end of the call, like, hey, just so you're aware, I did send your request on LinkedIn, and feel free to connect with me there. And also, if you haven't seen Gladiator 2, I was to the movie.
I literally heard him leave a voicemail and say that. I was like, that's bold.
No, you did not. Yes. You are not being. Are you serious?
So just to make sure they kind of get the idea of the movie.
He says, check out my LinkedIn. You can see that I was in Gladiator 2. I was like,
oh my soul. That is amazing. Wow, that's going to be my new Roman Empire. Okay, so keeping with staffing, right? Because that's what we sell. Ultimately, we sell staffing, project solutions, whatever you name it, anything. Because a shameless plug, Randstad is the largest HR services engine in the world, which is pretty sick. What a claim to fame. $30 billion company.
Number 1, right?
Yeah, Randstad Global. Yeah. So Randstad Digital subsidiary of Randstad Global. Did I just say Randstad Global twice? Words are hard. Anyway, being in the staffing industry, being in sales, I think the 3 of us have all sat in the recruiter seat before. Dally, did you ever recruit in staffing?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
I did iGaming consulting.
Okay, that's right. So, weirdest thing you ever seen on someone's resume, Dally?
I would say just a sloppy format, literally lots of spaces and then just no agenda of where the education should be on the bottom, top, just everything thrown in, and it's honestly a disaster.
In their defense,
literally.
I'll be the devil's advocate, even though I know the devil has enough advocates. People are not professional resume writers. That was one of the first things I learned in staffing. I honestly have thought so many times about starting a side hustle in resume writing because over the years I've gotten so good at it.
Because we look at hundreds of resumes a day.
Oh my god! And you learn. You're like, oh, okay, that looks terrible. The formatting, this or that or whatever. So I get what you're saying, but
When people lie on the resume, that's
oh my god.
wild.
Have you ever seen something that was a blatant, obviously
Yes.
not true?
And their LinkedIn doesn't match. It's you're wasting your time and my time. It's my pet peeve.
Carissa, weirdest thing you've ever seen on someone's resume?
Super direct.
It was the same resume. Someone put their marriage status, and it was divorced.
Oh.
So I guess he wanted to let the world know he was single and ready to mingle,
He was ready
including
to
his resume.
He was looking for love in every place.
And then he also listed his parents as his references. Now, mind you, this man had been in in IT for 20 plus years.
I'm sorry, I don't care how long you've been in what arena. It's never okay to list your parents as a reference on your resume.
Or if you do, don't say that they're your parents.
Yeah.
He literally put mom info, dad info. It's you are a 40-year-old man. I'm not going to call your mother and ask her
I don't know. I might. At that point, curiosity my intrusive thoughts might win. I would be so tell me more.
Yeah. So sufficient to say that was the weirdest resume I ever saw. And I immediately deleted all of that off of his resume. And just let him know hey, just wanted to let you know. I did, and I was because he had the skill set. He had the he just had inappropriate things listed on his resume.
I have seen a lot of things on people's resumes sometimes these aren't even the resumes that I've sourced, like someone else has sourced them and showed me. So I'm actually I'm gonna say, can I just say like LinkedIn profile instead of resume, because I feel like those are kind of the same thing if you use them well enough. Shout out to Kim Prevost, because she knows exactly what I'm about to say. But there was a guy that she found him some role on LinkedIn, and when you went to his profile, he had a binary code. And when I'm gonna butcher this, but when you put in the code like into the search bar, it took you to YouTube, and it was the music video for Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley.
Never Gonna Give You Up?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah. And I was like, it was the most amazing thing. That was easily 5 years ago. And I actually asked Kim about this recently within the last couple of months. And she was like, I don't know how, but I found the profile again. And she sent it to me on LinkedIn. And I was like, that is still to this day, like
kind of
one
iconic,
of the most amazing things. I'll send it to you so you can check it out. Well, let's talk about everyone is selling. Like, what does a person who works in a completely different arena look like when they're selling? Like, if you're, I feel like the most common thing is in the interview process. So when you say everyone is selling, like when you're prepping for an interview, like remember that, right? Like, but at the same time, because people will say that's a hot take for sure. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you have to sell yourself. But I really like to look at it from the lens of same to the hiring manager. Like, you're also selling. Like, you're selling your company. You're selling your, you know what I mean? Like, what are your values? Like, all of those things. So I just feel like that was like a light bulb moment for me when you said that.
It's true though, like whether people realize it or not.
Yeah.
Like,
you could never work a day in your life in sales and you've still done some sort of selling. Like, whether it's, like even you go to a car dealership and you buy a car, you're like negotiating. That's part of sales. If you are like, whatever it is, like we all go through that.
Yeah, totally.
Some people just happen to have to do it on a daily basis. Yeah. And I honestly, like when people ask me what I do, I don't say sales, because in my brain, I don't think of it as sales. Like I think of it as like relationship building, because that's what's like important to me is like, I'm not thinking like, obviously we all go to work.
I don't know what's going on over here.
We all go to work to make a check. We have to pay our bills.
Right.
But like, I don't come here and like, that's maybe a hot take too. I'm one of the only people in sales that does not care about commission. I don't. I could take my base salary and run with it. Like, I genuinely am like, if I get money out of a deal, I get money out of a deal. But like, I'm there honestly just to like build a relationship. Like, I enjoy that part of it. I enjoy like, that's what I get like a feeling of gratification from is like just seeing something kind of like flower to life. Yeah. And like the money comes second.
See, I love that, because actually I've heard that a lot about software development. Like, people talk about like the reason that because I think to most people you'd see that and be like, oh, that seems really boring. But they're like, the most common theme I have heard is that the process of doing it can be really difficult. It can be exhausting. But when you see that thing that you created come to life, that's like the aha moment, right? It's like that, you're like, finally. It's a breath of fresh air. You feel like confident in yourself and like your ability to do your job. I think that is like so important. Yeah. I also think it's really important to make money.
I would say like that's one of the most important things to me in sales is my reputation. Yeah. Like, I want people, when my name gets brought up or when I reach out to someone and they're like, oh, I've heard of her. Yeah. I don't want them to think, oh, she's a great salesperson, or oh, she knows how to sell the heck out of something. Like, I want someone to be like, oh, Carissa, she's super helpful. Yeah. Oh, she knows her stuff. Oh, she'll be real with you and keep it real,
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
there is a quote by Maya Angelou, and she says, do you know what I'm about to say?
Wait, no, you go.
It's people will forget what you say, but they'll remember how you made them feel. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's like no matter, you can sound so dumb on the phone, right? People, they're not going to think about you ever again in their life. Yeah. But people will always remember like how you made them feel, and I think that's a huge part of sales. I also love that sentiment. Love it.
Speaking of how you make someone feel, that's something I've been trying to work on lately, is small acts of kindness. So the other day, me and Belle were talking about it this morning. The other day, I was like just having a rough day, going through it at Walmart in my crusty outfit, like hair on top of my head, like I looked rough. And some lady looked at me and she goes, "Your glasses are so cute. They frame your face really nicely." And like she said it so genuinely, and it turned my entire day around, made me feel really awesome. And so like now I'm trying to do that like once a day, find someone to like say something kind to. And like in the elevator earlier, saw someone with a cute shirt, so I just said, "Hey, you have a cute shirt." And like she looked stressed when she was getting in the elevator, and that kind of like put a smile on her face.
Yeah.
And it's just like finding little ways to do that. And then I thought to myself, like, how can I incorporate that into my job too? Because I feel like sometimes it's so fast paced, you don't like slow down and like, you know.
That is true. And on that note, the pendulum swing for elevator experiences for you.
I've had both sides of the
Over
spectrum.
the last week. Woo! You've had really, really different experiences. I know Dally despises the elevator and traffic and anywhere he feels like he has to merge with people in general.
The lift in the morning, literally.
The lift. He's so European.
Five people standing there. Who's gonna go in? I mean, the door's open.
Not this again. See, I freaking opened up a can of worms. With all of the weird things we encounter, all of the people we talk to, we reach out, like whether you're extroverted, introverted, whatever, like it takes a lot out of you. It's exhausting, right, to be in sales. Like you have to...
It's a hustle.
Yeah. You got to really turn, especially for you, Belle, when you're like meeting people where they're at, you know what I mean? You're like, I'm here and now I'm there and I'm kind of all over the place, right? Like, it's really hard to remain like
level-headed.
Yeah, you just like, I don't want to hear anyone else talk for the rest of the day when I get home. So when you,
especially if you're not extroverted.
Yeah, especially if you're not extroverted, like it sucks the life out of you. Social spreading.
I love talking to random
Social
people.
spreading.
Yeah. I do too. I could literally talk to a brick wall.
Yeah.
I could watch paint dry and talk to it.
I always like talking to like elderly people too. They're so interesting. There's
They have
so
the best
much
stories.
to say. Yeah. And,
I love that.
It's so awkward.
Take a shot every time I say I love that. Like,
yeah. We'll talk about coffee and how to roast the beans and
what really grinds your beans, your coffee beans.
lavazza.
It's a long day. You go home at the end of the day. How are you decompressing? Belle, how are you like taking the edge off?
On a good day, like sauna.
Going to the sauna?
I love a hot sauna. An infrared sauna or a cold plunge or both. Like, that's like
get in the water.
Day.
Be afraid.
Yeah.
Be afraid of that cold water.
Yeah.
And control your breathing. Yeah. It's all about the breathing.
Yeah, it's nice. And then maybe yoga or sometimes a fat cocktail.
Oh yes. Dally, I think you share with the class your favorite way to decompress.
But it's got to be at least like 2-3 hours of like training.
It takes that long for you to decompress.
if it's like amateur boxing, it's usually 2 hours and then like weights after. Yeah. Or just weights.
Okay.
Anyone's
an amateur boxer if you're
because I'm not a professional boxer obviously, but no, calisthenics or just going on a walk.
Yeah.
Just relaxing, having some coffee. Yeah, coffee in the evening. At 7 p.m.
Okay.
Coffee anytime, actually.
Let me just tell you this.
Do you guys drink coffee in the evening?
No, because I like to sleep.
I don't even drink coffee.
I like to sleep. Carissa, how do you decompress?
I don't think I've ever decompressed in my life. I think it just continues to carry
I'm constantly compressed.
I'm constantly...
Hold on, I didn't get to ask you guys. Back to the selling point.
Oh my God.
I know we're off topic, but listen. do you guys prefer to have someone call you and go off a script, or do you prefer someone who just asks how you're doing and if you're interested? And which do you prefer?
The latter of the two.
Way more natural.
For sure.
Yeah.
Please don't script me when you call me.
I always get roofing calls about roofing.
Like roofies.
Same. It's literally same.
Would you like to get roofied?
I was like, what?
Honestly, so I get a decent night's sleep. Sounds nice.
I just had coffee. It's 8 p.m. So yeah, it sounds good.
7 p.m.
It's 7 p.m. Bye.
Okay, Carissa, how do you? Oh wait, never mind. I'm an idiot. I decompress. I'm a Pure Bar girly, and I watch my trash TV, man. I also love reading. That's like the number one way for me to like
Shut my brain off.
Yes, because I go into this other world. My husband actually jokes that like the whole house could be on fire, and I wouldn't know because I'm like.
Once my Kindle's on,
See, I don't Kindle.
I'm dead to the world.
I'm ink on the page.
With
I
some
don't
wine
Kindle.
or just like.
No, just you know. Who
Period.
has two? You know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
just booking it. Like I got my hands. Maybe I'm relaxing. Maybe I'm like this. I'm probably laying like this. You know what I mean?
What are your cats up to at that hour?
I honestly fear for my cat's life. I'm getting them a tracker immediately.
Timmy the tiger.
Nobody tell him where I live.
Timmy.
Change my address on LinkedIn.
Oh my God! Why is your address on LinkedIn?
Well, you know how it says like your city?
I'm just kidding.
I'm changing it to the greater metroplex so he can't find me.
You named your
Okay.
cat Timmy.
Leopards,
Her name is
bobcats,
Peachy.
anything cat related.
Peachy
Leopards,
baby girl.
bobcats.
My
Peaches.
mom's
Yeah.
dog is named Peaches, and you
Panthers.
and my mom live in the same neighborhood. Fun
Don't
fact.
tell them which neighborhood
No,
that
I'm
is.
not gonna say.
All the
I'm not
orange
gonna say.
cats will go missing.
Cats.
The orange cats.
Listen, cats
Hide your
are
cats. Hide your dogs.
cats are chill though, for real.
These are actually like very random. Love to hear what you guys have to say because you got to get a little creative with your brain. But if you had to describe yourself on LinkedIn, but you couldn't use any corporate buzzwords or like corporate fluff, how would you describe yourself?
I'm me.
What?
Just like that Lil Wayne
name
song.
is
I'm me. Do you remember that song? Yeah. It's
Well,
one of
she
my
loves
favorites.
everything Lil Wayne.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. But yeah, I'm me, just myself.
Okay.
That's what it's called.
Just my authentic self. Yeah, the song is called I'm Me.
Authentic
It's
is
a
different
banger.
corporate.
Yeah, authentic is. What about you, Belle? What would you say? How
Um,
would you describe yourself?
I'm gonna change my job title to like.
Pardon?
Professional chit chatter.
Yeah, literally. Like,
Just here for the fun.
Yeah, I'm just here for a good time.
yeah, not a long time.
Live long or live fast, die young. That
Oh my God. Okay.
was
well,
my 14-year-old me motto.
I personally would describe myself as outgoing,
Your LinkedIn, yeah.
talks too much, but can guarantee a good time will be
Creative, yeah.
had. Like 100%. I can't promise that it's gonna end well. I can just promise you'll have fun doing it.
It's all
Whatever it
rainbows
is.
and sunshines over on Jordan's
Oh,
page.
Okay, that is not true.
On Jordan's page.
Oh, on my LinkedIn for sure.
Proactive and reactive fun.
Yeah, you know. So we had to have Belle had to dip out. She had to work. She had to call important things, life work calls. So with that being said, those are all the questions I have. Obviously, we've taken up a pretty good portion of
This
our
has been a
morning.
long-
It really has.
long
I kind of
ride.
enjoyed it. Like thanks for coming along the roller coaster with us. That is going to be a wrap on episode 3 for Hired and Wired. Thank you for joining your favorite coworkers this week. We are so excited to see you again next week. In the meantime, we hope you have a fantastic week, and we look forward to the next time.